building of the Commerce School was built in 1912-1914, and in 1922 it became the University of Lithuania. It is an example of the modernized neoclassicism, which was popular in the Russian Empire. This was also among the first cases in the city of using reinforced concrete constructions and numerous other advanced conveniences of the time. The most interesting part of the building is the Aula Magna, with decorative doors covered with a reinforced concrete dome and surrounded by pilasters and molded decor. The building of Saulės Gymnasium was built in 1913 from the funds collected for the first Lithuanian gymnasium by Saulė Lithuanian Education Society. The building is predominated by geometric modern elements, while the use of different colors of bricks and small plastered planes for the facade is a rather rare example of the material style. The modern style was also featured in the interior and the arrangement of the premises. The classes were arranged in a way to make use of the most of natural lighting. In 1872, Levin Minkovsky, a merchant from Kaunas, built a new synagogue. Its style is predominated by Baroque, which is particularly notable on the facade pediment with volutes. Nevertheless, the most unique characteristic of the exterior is the hint of the so-called Moorish style, downward narrowing circular dome. The caisson ceiling on the second floor of Kaunas Choral Synagogue, just like some parts of the walls, is decorated with painted and relief motifs characteristic to synagogues. The Bank of Lithuania, built according to the project of Mykolas Sangaila in 1928, was exceptionally solid and luxurious. The wings arranged along the street are connected by a rounded part with a dome, which is one of the key highlights of the building. The grandeur of the building is created with classical elements and decorative details of the front facades, such as, for example, the sculptural composition The Soldier, Peasants and Worker. The interior is even more impressive, featuring historicist luxury, supplemented with Art Deco, entwined with the latest technology of the time. The wall and ceiling decor, as well as a large number of authentic furniture and lights, have survived to this day. Each room is unique. Kaunas Theatre, designed by Justinas Galinevičius, architect of the governorate at the time, was built in the city garden in 1892. The building acquired its current looks and the status of the state theatre in the period of independent Lithuania. In 1922 to 1925, the building was reconstructed according to the project of Mykolas Sangaila and Vladimiras Dubinieckis. The modest neo-Baroque elements were replaced with much more extravagant, which are particularly notable on the pediment. The main hall was expanded as well, acquiring the shape of a horseshoe. Besides historicist details, the interior of the hall also features Art Deco tendencies expressed through various ethnic and floral motifs. During another reconstruction in 1930, Vytautas Magnus introduced a more modern style. Kaunas Garrison Church, built in the late 19th century, is an example of Neo-Byzantine architecture. The massive central drum with the dome is surrounded by 4 smaller ones. The facades are nearly identical, featuring highlighted massive stairways and porticos with rows of columns on the sides, supporting massive entablatures, finished with rounded arches. The neoclassicist Fortress Commandant's Palace, built in 1890-1891, is a typical example of this style, featuring symmetric facades and composition.